Hello my good people, good to see you once again. Leo tunazungumzia two ways venye unaweza tengeneza pesa na shares, alright, za Safaricom or any other shares, okay? Because kuna two ways venye unaweza tengeneza pesa, alright? But before we do that, kindly unaona hapo hivyo chini kidogo on your right kuna ka button kameandikwa subscribe na kako on black. Just kaguze tu, just click it, alright? Guess what you've just done, okay? You've just made the YouTube to notify you when I upload a new video. Niki-upload a new video utajulishwa, alright? And then hapo hivyo juu kuna kitu kana kaidi kama kamkono, right? That's a like. Kaguze tu, it's very simple, it's free, and that brings a lot of people on this boat so that at least we become a big family. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so kuna njia mbili ambazo you can be able to make money ukibuy shares za Safaricom or any other shares. Alright, and those two ways bila kupoteza wakati ni mbili. Moja inaitwa dividends na ya pili inaitwa capital gains. Alright, so tutaanza na dividends and then we go to the capital gains. So wenda na mimi pole pole and watch to the end ndio uweze kuelewa. Alright? So dividends, what is it? Alright? Probably hii ni jina ambao umaishi kuisikia dividends, nilipata dividend, interest na vitu kama hizo. Alright? So dividend, it is the amount of money a company decides kupea watu wenye wameinvest kwa hiyo kampuni kama profit. Alright? You know, a company functions, inapata profit, then ina dedicate a certain amount of money to give it to people. Kwa mfano, let's say make a profit of 100,000 and then your company may decide kupeana a profit of 50,000 or half of it as a dividend to its shareholders. All right, so how does it go about? All right, so what they do, they take that 50,000 amount of money enye wame decide kupeana kama dividends kwa watu wake, and then they divide it by the number of shares that company has floated. All right, let's say that company has floated a 100 shares, all right, or 1,000 shares, all right. So if it's 100 shares, also what they do, unachukua the 50,000, all right, divide by 100, that is the number of shares floated in the market, and the number you get there, that is 500 probably, all right, if you do your math correctly. What that amount of money that umepata hapo as 500, hiyo ndio pesa yenye itapeanwa per share. So to know the amount of money enye wewe utapata kama wewe ni investor in that given company, you take the 500 multiplied by the number of shares yenye wewe umenunua in that given company, and that is the amount that you will get as your dividend at the end of the physical year. Let me repeat once again. Nimesema hivi, if a company made 100,000 profit and it decided to give 50,000 of it as the dividend, that means itachukua the 50,000 divide by the number of shares hiyo kampuni iko nazo zote. Tumesema let's take an example as 100. If you take 50,000 divide by 100, inakujanga 500. So 500, it's the amount of money itapeanwa per share in that given company. So if you have 10 shares, it's 500 times 10, that is 5,000. If you have 10,000 times 50, 500, if any amount multiplied by that specific amount of money that will be given per share, hiyo inaitangwa dividend. And that one is actually a long-term investment whereby you just unaweka tu pesa zako hapo hivyo and then you relax and then you be getting that dividend kila mwisho wa mwaka. We call it a physical year. Kila mwisho wa mwaka, it doesn't have to be necessarily at January ama nini, because physical ya companies or a country huwa inaishenga kitu mwezi wa sita huko hivyo, so it doesn't have to be January or something of sort. Alright, that is way number one. And number two, hii ndio tunaitanga the capital gains. Don't worry, usijali about the big names za vitu kama hizo. So what can you do about it? The capital gains ni simple. Hii yenye tunaitanga buy low sell high. Simply, alright? This is probably the most popular one. Hii ni ile station yenye unanunua a company shares. For example, tunazungumzia the Safaricom one. Kwa mfano size let's say ni 26 shillings, alright? Ukinunua let's say size akiwa 26 shillings, maybe at the end of the year or at the end of the month or at the end of the day, anything can happen. And then you put those shares in the rise up to 29, up to 30, up to 31 or something of sort. So it's all about you if you can decide to sell those shares. Una decide kuziuza. Let's say you have 5,000 shares, yeah, by the company. So you can decide, oh, the shares has risen. So what I can do is I go ahead and sell like 2,000 shares and make that profit. You see, you ulinunua at 26, now the shares is at 30 or 31 or 28. Now you've made a few coins on top of the shares that you actually bought. And most of the rich people, they usually do this. They do it what we call the capital gains, all right? Capital gains is one of the quickest and easier way to make money if the company is functioning best. hii ndio huwa wanaita sana sana the sell buy low and sell high. That's the simplest way to define it, all right? Kwa mfano unapata like some few years ago like 2010 na huko hivyo ulikuwa unapata Safaricom share ilikuwa na trade at around 0.05 ama unapata labda ilikuwa 1 shilling. Sasa hizi imepanda up to 30 shillings. And then bearing in mind that it is expanding rapidly, and not just Safaricom shares and the possible kununua. Kuna variety of others. Kuna EABL, that is African Breweries, kuna Centum, kuna Kakuzi, kuna Equity Holdings, kuna Stanbic, kuna Standard Chartered. I mean, there are a lot of them, all right? So I won't propose to you this is the best or this is the other, but I just give an example to the company that you're well conversant with. You make decision, uko unajua which one is better for me and something of sort. So to recap what I've just said, but before that, anyway, kama umefikisha tu up to this point in this video, thank you very much. And maybe ulisahau hapo hivyo chini on your right kuna ka button kameandikwa subscribe. Just take a second tu kamoja. Hapo hivyo chini imeandikwa subscribe, it is in black. Kaguze tu, kindly guza tu hivyo. Thank you very much. And hapo hivyo juu kuna kitu kana hivi kama kitole, just click that thumbs up. That is a like, meaning that you enjoy this video, and also this video can actually be suggested to other more people to bring them on board. All right. So perhaps if America what I've just said, nimesema hivi, if you buy Safaricom shares or if you buy any shares, kuna njia mbili zenye una earn nazo. Moja nimeita dividends, nika explain kampuni na decide ku float a certain number of shares, or rather certain could give a certain number of money in terms of profit to the shareholders. All right. For example, nika take an example, you may decide kupeana 50,000 as a what? As a dividend to its members, and that means if you take that amount of money divided by the number of the floated shares in that given company, you divide it, you get the price per share. Now that price per share, it is the one that you'll multiply with, or you'll use to multiply with the number of shares that you have in that given company, and that will define the amount of money that you'll get at the end of the fiscal year as your dividends. All right. And number two, talk about the capital gains. All right, capital gains ni kitu naitanga buy low, sell high. Simply means that you buy when shares are low and then you sell when they rise in price. And by the way, you just have to look, for you to know that these shares will rise and such, you have to look for a stable company, a company that has prospects of growing and becoming bigger in future, so that at least you can grab a fraction of that given company in terms of shares, provided the company iko floated or rather iko listed kwa the NSE. Tunaitanga it is PLC. Kama hiyo kampuni ni public listed company, ni kumaanisha anybody can buy shares from that given company if it's a PLC company. An example, it's Kakuzi. You know, for you to know the number of companies that are floated, you can go to the stock market. Stock market ni nini? Hii ni kitu tu simple. Unaona vile unaenda soko unapata different commodities, unapata maembe, unapata machungwa, unapata nanasi, blah blah blah. Sasa kuna soko la hisa, ndio inatangwa soko la hisa, all right? The stock market, it is the Nairobi Stock Exchange in our country. So if you go to that specific company, you're able to see different variety of companies listed in that specific website, and that means you can be able to buy shares from that specific company, provided it's listed and it's ready for the investment. All right, because those companies are there to seek what we call the securities. All right, they are there to seek securities in investment. They look for potential people who want to invest in them, and they make money together. Right, that's it. Is as simple, inakuanga simple as that. So si complicated na si hesabu ngumu. So kuna walikuwa nauliza, does it how many months does it take to do this? How many? You can buy today, next week ipande udecide kuuza. You go ahead and do it, all right? But of course, what you do, you need to have a broker of your choice. And guess what? That will be my next video yenye nitazungumzia the broker of your choice na venye unafaa kuchagua broker mwenye unafaa kutumia kununua shares, because you cannot be able to buy shares without a broker. Unahitaji broker. And this is not the broker that you usually think about, like Waviazi, Wanini, Wangombe. No. This is a legit brokers who have been listed in the Nairobi Stock Exchange, all right? In the Nairobi Stock Exchange website, you'll get to see them. Under the online trading, you will get them. Next time I will tell you ni nini itakufanya kuchagua this broker or not the other broker and such kind of a thing. All right. So anyway, guys, if you've reached this particular point in this video, I want to say thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity that you've given me to listen to me and tell you what I think or what it is there as far as the shares are concerned. Guess what, guys? If you like that kind of a content, my name is Joseph. Talk about everything related to investment, finance, and your money. I'm literally this guy who comes at the end of the month and tell you, hey, you know what? You don't consume everything and anything that comes on the way, and kind of eradicate all your money and becomes harder for you to develop your future. I would say this: buying shares is a long-term investment. Especially if you are 23, you go ahead and buy shares that can be very, very, very nice to you, and go ahead and secure your future. And one day, who knows, you'll be reaping big. You're sitting somewhere and you own a couple of hundreds of thousands of shares of a given company or companies, and you're getting dividends. And that's another way of investing, because where we are heading right now, the new shamba, it is in the internet. If you let the internet and the technology leave you behind, I'm telling you, the life would be harder for you and it would be detrimental. As of now, what can I say more than thank you, and let's meet in the next video, and God bless you. See you there.